Welcome back to the Malted Man Cave. Dave is back again down here in the Man Cave for another review.
Down in the it's not stinky anymore down here.
No, it's not.
It's recovered well from the flood.
So we're down here in my basement as usual, and we decided to hang out and review for you Glendronach Cask Strength Batch 6. So Glendronach, as many of you guys know, is one of my favorite distilleries. I think Dave doesn't like he likes sherry, but it's not his favorite.
Yeah.
I don't want to speak for you. What would you say about sherry, sherried whiskeys?
I like sherry. I like sherry probably a little bit more than like the really heavily peated whiskeys, but it's definitely
growing on you.
Growing on me. I'd say growing on me.
So
yeah.
So this is definitely a sherried whiskey, and you know, in many of my other reviews, we've kind of talked about how Glendronach just kind of came out of nowhere after being shut down in the '90s, and they were mothballed. So they actually let all the casks that they had before they shut down. They just let them, you know, for like 8-10 years. I can't remember the exact number that it kind of just laid mothballed.
I can't imagine that another company wanted to have gone in and cleaned it all out. From all my research, aren't all the casks and everything like
it's incredibly valuable.
Yeah.
Well, so the company still owned it.
Okay.
They just decided we don't know if we're gonna make money anymore on this, so we'll either wait till like the market picks back up and we'll reevaluate, or someone else will buy this from us. Hopefully.
Okay. So they kept it together.
Yeah. I'm sure they had like security and a bare bones staff, just kind of making sure everything's okay.
Keith's over there breaking in.
Dude, I would love to. Glendronach is so good.
That's where we're gonna end up. We're gonna end up just leaving our families and
we're gonna move to Scotland and just rob distilleries.
Yeah. No. Let's work at a distillery.
I like the idea of robbing them. Yeah. Get rich.
Bonnie and Clyde. Whatever.
So, what was I saying?
Talking about Glendronach.
Actually, I don't know if you heard. Did you know that Buffalo Trace? Like, there was this huge scandal where someone broke in and stole all that. A ton of Pappy Van Winkle.
Inside job, right?
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Like, I would be so sad if that happened to me and you owned it.
Oh.
I don't know if we ever talked about it in the Elijah Craig. Did you know that Elijah Craig actually, one of their huge warehouses caught on fire and the whole thing burned down? Like, almost all of their stocks.
Recently? Or like last 10 years?
Maybe the 90s.
So the last 20 years? Wow.
Yeah.
So they just had to start over.
And I'm sure now, like, they spread out their stocks, their casks. Definitely there's like areas in between, so they're not connected. So if one warehouse caught on fire, it doesn't affect the other one.
Touring the distilleries in around Louisville, I was amazed at, because there's no like fire systems or anything like in a lot of those old warehouses where they store things.
Mm-hmm. I know, it's like kind of a bad situation.
Anyways.
All right, so tonight we're going to be doing Glendronach Cask Strength, and as I was saying before, Glendronach just came out of nowhere in the 2000s to become this amazingly sherried whiskey distillery. So it is one of my favorites, and I had Glendronach Cask Strength Batch 4, and it was magnificent, so I decided to get this one so we could review it. So Glendronach Cask Strength comes in at 56.1% ABV. It is non-colored, and it is not chill filtered.
Check mark.
The maturation is a combination of the finest Oloroso sherry and Pedro Jimenez sherry casks. So, without further ado, let's get into some whiskey. And I actually need to be careful. What do you get on the nose?
Sherried, definitely sherried. Dark chocolate, reminds me of like a coffee house vibe, espresso in the air. And then I also, getting around the holidays, my aunt makes these dessert. They're called haystacks. And
yes.
Yeah, and it reminds me of those, eating those haystacks.
Yeah, for sure.
Just the chocolate over the what is that noodle that is used in a haystack?
I know what you're talking about. I don't know what the exact term is.
Yeah, it's like a hard noodle.
Funny, and I don't want to interrupt because I don't think you're done with your nose. You saying that made me think of my mom makes Christmas candies, and it's you take butterscotch chips, so butterscotch chocolate that's in like the Hershey Kiss like little minis, and then regular semi-sweet chocolate chips. You melt that down together, and then you take crumpled up like ruffled potato chips, and you like smash them. And you mix that into the the butterscotch and the chocolate that's melted. And it gets this like salty, chocolatey, and then you melt it all, and then you put peanuts into all that, and then you obviously make little
dabs of
that you put, and then you
and
put
then
it.
they cool.
It's so good, and I get that.
Perfect,
the peanut butter.
Yeah. Red wine, specifically a dry Merlot. I don't know. It just reminded me of my wife drinks Merlot in the winter. And then the last was a floral note, very cut flowers, fresh cut flowers. That's what I got on the nose. How about you?
So along with those chocolate candies, I get almost every Glendronach whiskey that I've had. The second that I nose it, it smells like I'm peeling back a tin of chocolate Nesquik. Just like dry powdered chocolate cocoa powder.
Yeah.
I also kind of get, Dove has these little milk chocolate candies. Almost like when you're wrapping the aluminum foil around it, just kind of like that little waft that you would get.
Yeah.
A little bit of like treacle toffee, kind of butterscotch. Honeyed baklava, kind of a little bit of that honey and the pastry. Like you said, a little floral. Kind of the flower that I kind of identified was buttercups. I think that's the kind of smell that I get. Just so much chocolate and like peanut butter. Again, with you, I actually put coffee grounds. So you said espresso.
Yeah.
It just smells like coffee grounds.
Yeah, something in the air.
At Young's Jersey Dairy, and I think I mentioned this in one of my recent videos. I don't think you were able to be in that one.
Wow.
Have you had Young's Jersey Dairy's the chocolate peanut butter?
Yeah.
So just like chocolate ice cream, and then it's like layers and layers of like peanut butter inside it. It's so good. So I get that, and then I got to give a shout out to, if I ever steal a note, I always want to give a shout out. And I was watching Joe from Whiskey Wednesday. I know Phil's kind of back doing all the reviews now, but when Joe was doing it, he did a review on the Glendronach Cask Strength, and he said Snicker bars. And I smell that so much. Go ahead and smell. Tell me if you don't smell Snicker bars.
Yeah.
It's even more so on the palate. It's even more strong.
Yeah, I would say it's a little bit, for me, it's a little stronger once you've taken a sip.
So Snicker bars, oranges, and kind of black sour maraschino cherries on the nose. And that's all I get on the nose. All right, and for the palate.
Well, I already took my first sip. I put my first thought was a red hot candy, like a really cinnamony candy with chocolate notes all over it. I just envisioned this chocolate swirl with red hot candies in it. And then
I kind of get that. I didn't put that in my notes at all, but I do kind of.
And then back to the haystacks, the chocolate covered whatever those noodles are made out of, and then Buckeyes. Buckeyes are a candy that is peanut butter, a type of peanut butter mixed into chocolate.
Yep.
Raisin Trail Mix was another one. I used to eat a lot of trail mix.
It makes sense because I get a nutty peanut butter flavor, and then obviously cherries,
just everything,
like the raisin.
Yeah.
You get.
And then oatmeal. I make a lot of oatmeal. The kids love oatmeal during the cold weather, so reminds me of brown sugar oatmeal.
So I get Snicker bars. I always love talking about chocolate fondue.
Chocolate fondue.
And it reminds me, on the palate, if you take bananas and kind of mix it, dip it into the chocolate fondue.
like 8 times you said, "Hey, have you ever been to this place called the Melting Pot?"
And every
was
time
like,
I
I've
ever
been
say
there, I've been
fondue,
there.
you're like, when Keith says fondue, fondue.
Fondue.
So, chocolate fondue, like you're dipping with bananas and also with marshmallows. Have you ever had chocolate with marshmallows too?
Yeah.
Again, peanut butter. I've never had a chocolate covered prune, but I imagine that it would taste like this if I had a chocolate covered prune. And then the last thing I got on the palate was this creamy coco lopez. And I think I've said this coco lopez on every Glendronach review that I've done. It's like this kind of coconut creamy.
Is that the last taste that you get after you swallow?
Yeah.
Me too, man.
Have you ever had a mixed fruity drink with coco lopez?
Yeah, I was trying to describe what that last little kick is there at the end. What stays with you right as you're swallowing.
Yep.
There you go.
So coco lopez is the last note that I get on the palate. So, how was the finish for you?
I put down long, but just me taking some drinks now, I feel like it goes away a little quicker than I first thought. Kind of left with the same notes, cinnamon and chocolate, and I think some of that cinnamon for me is the heat of it, just because of the cask strength. But man, overall, yeah, I don't review cherries very well, but I definitely enjoyed.
Even at the cask strength, huh?
Yeah.
Because you didn't add water to this.
It was a
one.
long day today.
So for me, the finish is moderate to long. Like I think it's fairly long. It's one of the longer ones that I've had. So moderate to long, and again I get those like chocolate covered prunes, peanut butter, a little bit of like blood oranges, and then that creamy coco lopez like kind of
creamy coconut
sends it on its way. So this is really good stuff for me, and I think I have it on Decent Knowledge or Swami from Malted Montreal, another awesome channel and good guy as well.
Yeah.
Apparently, he spoke to a Glendronach rep who said this is typically almost always aged about 15 years. So it's a non-age statement, but it's about 15 years typically, which is good because sometimes a lot of NAS whiskeys are trying to get away with 10 years, 8 years.
Right. How fast can we turn it around?
7.5. So the maturation on this is pretty dang good. So Malted Man Cave score out of 100. Where would you put this?
I'm gonna say that this is a 90.
90?
A 90 for me.
That's good for a
Yeah,
sherry whiskey.
it's probably my highest sherry whiskey.
I think I'm going to put this at a 91 out of 100. Very good. I think probably earlier on in my journey, this probably would have been a 92 or a 93. I've just had so many good whiskeys now that
Yeah.
I think it's kind of lowering the average.
Yeah. And I think I'm starting to
score.
enjoy more types of whiskeys. So
Not
like
just bourbon mature or bourbon.
So my reviews are like naturally going to go up as I'm. Yeah. I was going to ask you. I can always tell when you really like something because on your nosing you just do all these crazy like blowing into the glass and I saw you do it tonight, and if you look back in the video I'm like so
I've never seen it. I've seen other people do this, like they blow in it, but I actually like get in there all the way.
Put a little pressure in there.
And I just feel like it
but I think it
blows it out.
I've
I like enjoy it.
I've watched reviews of other people doing that before.
Really?
I've
only seen one other person. It was like, it was a girl. It was a young woman, and I don't think she has a YouTube channel. But I think like we shouldn't have a whole lot of subscribers. I don't think she does it anymore. I saw her go like this, and and I had been doing this before. Like I don't know. I just got in the habit when I was drinking and enjoying, just going. And then I just feel like it just wafts out, and it's like really strong.
You know how they tell? Have you ever heard that thing where they say to eat an orange in a shower?
No.
You've never heard that?
Uh-uh.
Okay. It's like this thing, like you should take an orange in with you and just like tear it apart while you're in the shower, because the humidity That's why like you go into the bathroom in a hot and humid shower smells more, because the humidity makes the smell travel faster and like more pungent. So that's
that
why
makes sense.
So I was like,
The
man,
heat.
so you're putting a little pressure and a little humidity from your mouth, and I was like, man,
opens it up.
Is that like a science thing that he's like, is this what I should be doing to get my nose in? So no, that's not a common thing.
I know.
Let us know if you do that or if you do anything weird when you're nosing it.
I think the 3 or 4 main things that I know that people in the whiskey community as a whole kind of do is obviously for each year the whiskey is aged, 15 years, they let it sit for a minute for each year.
Okay.
And, a lot of times they'll put like a cap over it, so that when they take it off, it's, it just hits you with all that flavor. Obviously adding water, which I almost always add water like when I'm actually getting my notes and stuff off camera. We haven't added water really more than a couple times. We probably need to start doing that. I just haven't done it just due to time constraints. I feel like sometimes we get long-winded and it would take too long if we went through it with adding water. So that, and I've seen a couple people blow on it, but I think from what I know, I'm the only one that like really gets in there.
You get in there. Well, I'm getting in there from now on too.
All right, so 91 out of 100, 90 out of 100. It's really, really good stuff. If you can find some, definitely pick it up. So, question of the night.
Oh, man.
And we were sitting around like, hey, what are we going to talk about tonight? And he texted his wife.
Yeah, Hallie came through.
She texted us back with like a pretty deep question. We're like, wow, Hallie's like a philosopher.
She said, are humans better at creation or destruction?
So initially when I first heard that, I immediately went negative. I was like, oh gosh, it's really sad. Like, we're definitely better at destruction. Obviously I believe that each human being has the great capacity for great good, and unfortunately great evil. And I think every day we decide, which way we're going to go. But the more I thought about it, and even as we were doing our review, we do a lot of good things too.
Yeah.
I mean, think of all the amazing inventions that we've done. Just think of the iPhones, computers, airplanes, going to the moon, even though it's debatable.
Debatable? No.
Not anymore, but when we originally. So I would say it's an even tie. I don't think we're either or. I think we're equally good at destruction and creation, unfortunately. Hopefully one day we'll get to a point where it's not like that.
It's amazing that you just said that, because the first thing I thought of is that humans have the ability we are very destructive, and we do not pay attention to consequences of our actions until those consequences are affecting us. And but in that same breath, we have an amazing ability to react and to overcome.
Yeah.
So the yin is balanced by the yang. I feel like we will always have good people in the world to counterbalance the bad, and we will always have now there's ebbs and flows, and there's everything's cyclical, and sometimes it weighs more one way than another, but I believe in the human race and the human condition.
Yeah. It's funny you say that, and I know you know this, that I'm a therapist and I do counseling for a living. And I was actually just talking with someone. She just really struggles with depression, and she, this world's just such a terrible place. Like, just really doesn't want to ever leave her house. She's afraid. And, I just kind of just helped her find some balance, that the world has always kind of gone like this.
Yeah.
Times where humanity, like, when America was founded, I feel like, at least in this part of the world, I feel like morality was a little bit better. I mean, nothing. There's still evil people. People still made mistakes. But I think people generally had better family values. We're just doing better things. But then it gets bad again. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I tried to tell her, I was like, you know what? In ancient civilization, the Assyrians, when they captured cities, they literally skinned the men alive threw them off the buildings, and took the women and children as sex slaves. So I think part of it is like,
or the Boltons if you're into Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Imagine the Boltons. Those are the Assyrians.
I hated that guy.
Oh, Ramsay.
I was so happy when he finally got killed. But I think
Spoiler alert. I'm just kidding.
I think the issue is with social media, we just see so much negative stuff.
Yeah.
And back in the day, we didn't see.
Get
as
off
much.
social media, especially
And,
before bed.
You know, negativity unfortunately
Palate.
sells. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it's It's what gets you to click.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
if you have a question of the night, feel free to drop a comment. We like to drink whiskey and then just kind of have a chat at the end just for fun, for craps and giggles. So, go out and get you some Glendronach Cask Strength Batch 6 or any of the batches you can find. They're amazing. Anything else you want to say?
No. Thank you.
Thanks
Good
for
night.
watching. Please subscribe, like. Let's launch it.